Guys, it's Cece again. It's Constance Stanleys. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a good day. Yes, let's get into it. I hope you are ready for me. Yes, guys. So, don't forget, if you want to email me, it's thisgirlvents@prz.com. So that's 109.2. Yo, guys, we're going to be talking about depression generation. How do you feel about that topic? So, actually, I wanted to really talk about this because I was speaking to my friend and I was saying to him, you know, what should I talk about today? What should we discuss? So he was like, talk about mental health. And you know what? It's excuse me, it's a good point. I decided I wanted to actually talk about mental health in young people. And the reason why I decided to speak about that was because I felt like it was being overlooked. I've worked with people who would state that, you know, they work or they worked at places where young people would be sectioned, and like 65% of the people there were young. They were underneath the age of, I think it was 29 or something like that. And to me, that was a big issue. That was something that really scared the hell out of me. So I wanted to quickly talk about the millennials and Generation Z. Right. So let me just quickly explain who the millennials are. I'm a millennial. And I do that with my fingers moving. So millennials are basically people born around the early or middle of the 1980s to about the middle of 1990s. And it's funny because that generation, apparently they have the highest record of unemployment and they are the most financially unstable generation ever. And I thought that was pretty shocking, and I also felt like that was leading to a lot of crime, and that was leading to a lot of instability mentally, so mental health wise. So I wanted to quickly run through a few things because I do feel like especially the millennials, we come from a generation where the generation that precedes us, they're kind of hard to communicate with because they're coming from a generation that didn't speak to their parents. They had no say, kind of thing. And I feel like the millennials kind of suffer underneath that because we halfway grew up not talking and then had to quickly adjust to learning how to express yourself on the spot, and sometimes you don't really know how to handle that. And I really wanted to discuss that, especially when it came to mental health, because a lot of us are suffering in silence, and not only are we not speaking, we don't know how to speak and we don't know who to speak to. And I felt like this was an important thing to kind of, you know, just discuss. I don't want to spend too long on describing issues. I actually want to spend more time describing solutions or things that we could possibly do to bring more awareness, or, you know, highlight solutions that could help us, basically. So I'm gonna mention a couple things that I wrote down because I felt it was really important. Another thing as well, just to add to this, by the way, Generation Z, they're called. So they're born around late 90s to mid 2000s, right? Now this generation, apparently they're the most dangerous generation. They're the ones that don't really, they live on YOLO, you only live once, so they do a lot more reckless things, apparently. This is based on studies, quick research that I did today. And also, they are the only generation that has had the internet throughout their entire lifetime. So what this means is that, and I feel like this also leads to it could lead to depression as well, because of how you see yourself, because of how you present yourself, so the impression that you give to other people. And Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, a lot of these places fuel packaging is what I'm going to call it. So what's another word for packaging? What I mean by packaging is presenting yourself a particular way when that's not actually how you are really in reality or on the inside. And I feel like a lot of the times young people, both millennials and Generation Z, they are crumbling underneath a lot of mental illness that they cannot speak about, and they're quite reluctant to share. And I just feel like it would be a good point to just kind of go into that a little bit. So now, what should I go into first? I got quite a few notes that I really wanted to just kind of like get off my chest, because you know this is This Girl Vents, CC on This Girl Vents. So confidant and confidence. So I kind of put these two things together because I felt like it is very important to have someone that you can speak to. And when I say speak to, I mean bearing yourself, basically. There's this thing that my friends tend to do, my very little small circle of friends that I gained when I graduated from university, and it's called an intervention. And that's exactly what it is. We are intervening on behalf of each other, and I feel like that's something that is very crucial in circle of friends, within siblings, family, platonic friendships and relationships, as well as like romantic relationships. Actually having interventions and asking, how are you doing today? Because sometimes, not even sometimes, naturally we're programmed. We have this programming where we always say, I'm fine, I'm doing okay. And a lot of the time it's just an answering machine. It's just a voicemail kind of response. It's not actually how we're feeling on the inside. So the moment someone says to you, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. And usually, not only are we programmed to say, yeah, I'm fine, we're also programmed to accept when people say, yeah, I'm fine. So for example, if I see my friend or whatever, and I say to my friend, you know, hey, how you doing? And he or she says to me, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm fine. I move on. Then I'm like, great, so what are we eating today? I don't actually say, are you sure? Is there anything that's different? How was your week? You know, how's your family? I don't really go into that, and a lot of us don't actually do that, and it kind of takes a lot of sensitivity to do that. So with having a confidant, is having someone who you can have those interventions with, that you know, you can speak to on a level and actually discuss how you feel. And when I say confidant, I would always suggest just having one person, or having a very, 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 very tight-knit friendship group. 3 people, perhaps 4 if that's your liking, but someone that you can genuinely speak to about yourself, where you can express yourself. And confidence in the sense of being bold enough to say how you actually feel, and not speaking based on programming and just saying, yeah, I'm good, and that's it, but actually delving into the deeper things, the more profound things, or the things you actually felt, how you feel about someone, how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself. Especially now in this day and age, there's so many things going on in our era that makes people look better than they seem to be, and sometimes you want to always be at that level when we're not actually ready for that. And the fact that we're not ready for that throws us into a depressive state. When I say depression, by the way, guys, it's not just feeling down for one day. It's literally having a series of days where you really do not want to get up. You don't want to do anything about your life. And that's something that you need to check into. So if you've had, or you are still having days where you feel, right, I I don't even want to live right now. I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything. Or you're constantly anxious. You're terribly panicked, like really, really anxious about anything, just leaving the house, and that has been prolonged over a certain amount of days or whatever, then I would say check into that, or see a specialist, see your GP, talk to someone about it, talk to someone about your true feelings, your genuine feelings, you know. So now, going away from like confidant or confidence, is accountability. Accountability is a word I really started using this year, because I learned so much from people I would like watch on a low and stuff. I have always been that person that I find it really hard to keep in contact with people. And it's something I'm trying to learn how to do, but it is one of the most important traits you can have as a human being, to always, not just to be accountable for yourself, but to be accountable for your friends. And when I say friends, I'm not talking about just hi and bye. I'm talking about your real friends. Be there for them and check up on them, call them. Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in so long, or we haven't spoken, or whenever I try to message you, it's not really going through, or whatever the case may be. And I think it's very, 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 very crucial to do that. Be accountable for family members as well. We all have family members that we're kind of like, eh. You know, there's family members where we just love them because there's blood, you know. Those particular ones are the ones that probably need our help, you know, more times than none. So accountability, guys, check up on people, check up on yourself. I have this little app on my phone, and it always tells me excuse me guys, when to have a breast check. And it's not, of course, it sounds like it, but it's not, but it reminds me to always do that. And I kind of learned from that, just to make sure I'm doing that for myself and checking up on people. I'm not calling people and telling them to have breast checks, but you know, I'm calling people to see, hey, how are you? Like, you know, we haven't spoken in about a month, and I'm just checking up on you to see if you're okay. And I think it's really, 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 really good to do that. And people who are doing that already, especially for my friends that know that I'm terrible at doing that, and they do that with me, I love you. Thank you so much. Transparency, guys. This is a big one, because I feel like we come from a culture, the British culture. It's not really a British culture, actually. It's not. It's a combined culture. It's the British plus, I don't know, maybe African or whatever, where you don't speak about particular things or just anything at all. And being transparent, and I understand that being transparent for a lot of people is synonymous with being vulnerable, which is also to them synonymous with being weak. And I don't actually believe that. I believe that when you are transparent, and if you are brave enough to actually show your vulnerable side, you're not actually displaying weakness, you're displaying strength. It takes a lot to remove that bulletproof vest, you know, from your mind, from your feelings, from your emotions, from your mental state, and actually allow someone in, or allow yourself out. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't really let ourselves out. A lot of the times we're just cocooned in our own minds, and we don't speak about anything that we're feeling, and that's really, really, really dangerous. I keep saying having a bulletproof mindset is amazing, but just remember that as much as it keeps things from coming in, it kind of also keeps things from going out. And you need to have an outlet. You need to have someone or somewhere or somehow that you're pouring out. For me, it's writing. I've always written. So I do that. Poetry, stories, whatever the case may be, or just my feelings. I do that a lot, because I'm someone that finds it very difficult to communicate with other people based on how I'm feeling. So I tend to write down a lot. But from the group of friends I have, I've learned that it's okay to actually be open about how you feel, how you genuinely feel, and be confident in that. You know, even if it sounds silly, even if it sounds, I don't know, far-fetched, or I don't know, don't care about that. Just care about the fact that you're letting out and you're free doing that. So I was gonna add to this and basically say, like, even though it's not okay to not be okay, it's still okay to not be okay. Basically, seek help. We know that it's not good to not be okay or to be depressed. We know it's not okay, but that doesn't make you the only one singular person in the entire world that has gone through that. You are not alone. And I feel like this is something we always need to let people know, even let ourselves know. When you look in the mirror, no man is an island. You are not alone. There is always someone around you who can be of help, who can actually, and you can learn from people. Sometimes you don't always have to discuss with people. Sometimes just watching people, how they respond to things, you can pick up things. And that's what I'm talking about with being transparent. So not just being transparent, but being open to learning, because the more you learn, I feel, the better you live. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely say seek help, man. Seek help, seek professional help. You know, have someone that you're speaking to regularly, have an outlet, have someone that you're pouring into, or something you're doing. And when I say something, guys, when I see people who, because I have friends who have battled with schizophrenia, you know, depression, anxiety, you name it. You know, a lot of people are going through things day in, day out that they are afraid to speak of because they're afraid of being judged. You will not be judged, and by judging I mean you will not be condemned. You are not the only person. Remember, I said you're not alone, right? So don't feel some type of way. It's not only you. The person you're probably talking to as well is probably facing something of their own that they haven't told you, you know. So don't feel any type of way. But what I would advise is try and get out a little bit. The thing about depression is you kind of find yourself shut down in a particular mindset that you cannot escape from. And it's because we have people who it's kind of like how you have functioning alcoholics, and they have their day-to-day things that they're literally going through, but deep inside they are not okay, and they haven't been okay for a very, very, very long time. And sometimes it's very hard. You know, you hear these stories of people who are perfectly okay, and before you know it, they commit suicide, and everyone around is scratching their head thinking, wait, this guy or this girl was perfectly okay. She was laughing with me. She was doing all kinds of things with me. This is why I say, listen, you have to reach out. Be accountable for the people who are dear to you. People who have a little piece of string connected to your heart, you need to reach out and be accountable for them, not just for yourself. So, activities. I believe in doing different things, learning new things, meeting new people. I was always afraid of meeting new people because I never really felt that I was the best person in conversation, because I didn't really like talking about myself. But what I realized is that when you meet new people, you kind of, I don't want to say transcend, but you kind of forget about what you're going through and you start learning. Because when we meet other people, we're relational beings, right? So you meet other people, you learn from them and they learn from you, right? And whilst you're doing that, you might actually find something that could help you in your current situation. You know what I'm saying? So meet new people and visit different places. Traveling, leaving your natural habitat. So if you live in Halsden, NW10, and you've been there for the whole of your 26 years of life, and you feel down, you feel like stagnant, you feel like you haven't moved in a while, maybe it would be great to get out, you know, go somewhere else, you know. You don't have to even you don't have to travel to Spain. Just go somewhere else. Go to Dover. I don't know. You know, just leave. Go somewhere else that would allow you to think straight or think more clearly. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I realize whenever I'm in a different place, I always learn different things. I always feel more enlightened, should I say. Yes, it is therapeutic. For real, it really is therapeutic. And I feel like when you have that going for you, it It causes slow change, and it allows you to free yourself because you are in a different environment. You don't see the same things every single day anymore. So definitely travel out, get out more, see different people, meet different faces and activities, man. Go to Thorpe Park, man. Just go on them rides, you know, do something. I don't know, try your hand at skateboarding, ice skating, whatever it is that you want to do, something different. Just put yourself, I love throwing myself into the deep end. I'm not always a risk taker, but when I am I know that sounds crazy, but man, you have to challenge yourself. Remember, we are evolutional beings, so apart from being relational beings, we are also evolutionary beings, which means we have to evolve, right? So the more you challenge yourself, the more you learn about yourself. You see yourself in a different light. You see yourself in a different environment. You see yourself in a different situation. So now your mind is working out, okay, how do I respond to this particular situation, this particular conversation with this new person? And you're thinking, you're working things out for yourself. You're doing more things that are different. Okay? I think that's good anyways. And when I also talk about like activities as well, guys, I have to mention this here because like I feel like it's super important. I wrote it on my notes because I genuinely did not want to forget it. Okay, now I want to talk about habits real quick. I have a book coming out and it is going to talk about habits, possibly addiction, but I just have to say, guys, find better habits. And the reason why I say that is because I used to work in a particular place where people would gamble, and what they were doing is, a lot of them, they were using gambling as a way to kind of cover up a lot of things that they were feeling inside or underneath, and it became an addiction and caused them to lose a lot of themselves. So not just losing money, but they're losing pieces of themselves to that particular addiction. So sometimes people are using sex, people are using food, people are using pornography to numb their anxiety, to numb their depression. And I have to hit this nail on the head, guys. You have to find a better habit. Those habits do not remove the depression, they just kind of give you a pleasurable feeling for that particular time, and then the moment it's gone, and you're back to that feeling again. It's kind of like Skinner's rats. I don't know if you guys remember, where you have the rat and then he has to touch this electrical thing that gives him the touch of pleasure, but if he touches it, he misses out on the food. So it's either he goes to eat the food or he touches the pleasurable thing. And it got to a point where it got so addictive that the rat would only ever touch the electrical thing, and it would receive that pleasurable zing or zap throughout. And obviously, because it kept doing that, it forgot to eat, so it died at the end of the day. So just putting it out there, guys, for real, the realist, find better habits. Like I said, travel out, meet new faces, meet new people, engage in new conversations, things that you've never discussed before. It's worth it, trust me. Get out of your own head. So be more expressive, don't be shy, and share your story. When I say don't be shy and be more expressive, share your story, because there are people like me, or there's someone else out there that's waiting on you to tell your story so that they can understand that they're not alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's very crucial to not be shy about how you're feeling, or try and be open, which means you have to get out of your own head. And lastly, man, you have to just envision the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes we can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. This is why I say envision it. And another word for envisioning the light at the end of the tunnel is hope. And hope is a very big deal to me. You have to have hope, whatever situation you have, because the moment you lose that hope, guys, is downhill from there. And this is why we have such high rates of suicide, high rates of mental illness going around, depression, So guys, please reach out. If you have someone that you haven't spoken to in the last like 5 years, I'm the same. Guys, reach out and just ask, how are you doing? I have people who are contacting me from primary school, high school, people that I genuinely forgot about, and they're reaching out to me and I'm reaching out to them, and we're discovering that, okay, there are actually bits of ourselves that we need to work on, and we can actually get through this together. So be accountable for your family members, guys. Don't forget, you have to express yourself. You know what Dr. Cece is always prescribing? Always, always, always express yourself. It is the most crucial thing that you could ever do. And guys, it is completely worth it. Don't miss out on it. And you know what? I'm just loving you from this side, to be honest with you, because it's not easy, but yeah, as a Christian, God will make a way. So guys, I've got to love and leave you. Don't forget to express yourself. This is Constance Stanleys on This Girl Vents. And yes, I will see you and speak to you some other time.